Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Serein, and today's video was inspired by my no buy. If you want to know why, history of shopping, why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, my rules and my time frame, and all of the nitty-gritty specifics, I will have that video linked in the description box as well as in the cards above my head. This video is all about my makeup collection, my realistic makeup collection that I used to have before I discovered YouTube and way before I actually had my own channel. As I sat down to really evaluate the last year and honestly my entire life of shopping and spending and my really not healthy relationship with how I spend money and why I feel the need to spend money and shop and accumulate things, I also reflected on my beauty collection and how I thought of beauty before I discovered YouTube and then started my channel. I realized while I had a large collection compared to my friends and family, I nowhere near have the collection that a lot of average people nowadays consider a modest makeup collection. Even though I loved beauty and I would go to the department stores and I'd place my Sephora orders, I never had a room or even a dresser full of products. I had a lot of products, especially compared to friends and family, but I think YouTube and blogging has made it normal to have an entire Alex 9 drawer of beauty products, even if you're not a blogger, even if you don't make YouTube videos and you just enjoy beauty. Like, that's almost like a normal thing now, and I don't think that's normal, actually. I think it's very not normal or healthy because most of those products will not be used up before they go bad. All of my content was hopefully to help you find the best products for you to add to your collection, but not just to collect, to actually use. I am very excited because I forgot about so many of these things. While I've always loved beauty, I used up my products way more often and had a much smaller collection. And Chris and I were thinking about it, and when we moved in together, I was living on my own before that. My entire makeup collection fit maybe a separate travel makeup case from MAC and a bathroom drawer. And that's about 6 years ago was the last time I had a makeup collection that wasn't involving creating content. Even when I was performing a lot, way before I met Chris, I had a lot more makeup because I did have a separate kit of stage makeup, and I would have either something like a caboodle, if not an actual caboodle. I had like a really nice makeup travel case from MAC that was about the size of a caboodle, maybe slightly bigger. That was full of like my false lashes, my heavier foundations, my Ben Nye powder to set my stage makeup, way more colorful items, and that's where my contour stuff was because contouring for stage is very harsh. I didn't contour day to day, so all of my stage makeup was in that kit. I had another drawer either in my bathroom or somewhere in my apartment that was relatively small of all the rest of my makeup. I thought I would share with you what my makeup collection for the most part on a day-to-day basis looked like 6 years ago, before I discovered blogging, before I discovered the beauty community, and before I started creating content. Because I definitely started buying more products as a consumer of content, and then way more products when I started my channel, just because I started my channel as a review channel, really, hauls and reviews, that's all I did. And I still love reviewing products. As I was thinking about my makeup collection before the beauty community, many of these staples I don't own anymore, and instead of running out and purchasing them just for this video, which I normally would have done.
$120. How would you like to pay? Here's $50 in cash. Can you put 30 on this card? 10 on that? 20 on that?
I decided that I was going to insert a photo, if I can find it online, of the products. I also have products from my current makeup collection that I can kind of substitute and show you. So here it is, my realistic makeup collection from 6 years ago in order of application. Primers. Now, I didn't really use primers day to day. The only time I would use a makeup primer would be for, I can only think of really my wedding, and because I had it for my wedding, I used it daily until it kind of went away. And the primer I used back then was the MAC Prep and Prime Face Protection Lotion SPF 50. And then after that ran out, I discovered the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, which I really enjoyed, and started using that underneath my foundations because I did notice a slight difference. And a lot of the times I was wearing makeup to go on auditions, and I wanted to make sure my skin like lasted a little bit better, and I never really retouched my makeup too much. I did start using a primer later on, but it wasn't something I had to have all the time. Foundations. I actually still have one of my last foundations that I used to use. Obviously this is a new bottle. I bought the smaller size because I have so many foundations to go through. It didn't seem worth it to me to buy a full size and not get through it. This is the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I am in the shade number 4, and this is what I wore on my wedding day, and it's what I wore for many years after that. I've been married 6 years now. I purchased this the year before my wedding to wear for all of the events leading up to my wedding, and I kind of used it anytime I needed foundation. Before that though, I was a pretty big fan of the Bare Minerals Original Foundation. The current shade I have is medium beige. I don't remember what shade I was back then, but I would wear this pretty much for anything I needed foundation for, and I'd been going to this since college. I remember my college roommate Erin had told me about it, and I liked it. I liked how it worked, and you could build it up or sheer it out. So I had gone through a bunch of different Bare Minerals Original foundations. I actually had the entire Bare Minerals Original kit, which had the mineral veil, warmth, and I think there was maybe like a couple brushes in there and a lip gloss. Concealer. I have been a long time user of the Hourglass Hidden Concealer in Natural. This is a funny story because I had actually been using a Benefit concealer, and it just was making me look kind of old. So I went into Sephora and I was testing out all these concealers, and a makeup artist walked up to me. He didn't work at Sephora, but he clearly was a makeup artist. He walked up to me and was like, "Honey, what are you using right now that you're trying to replace?" And I said, "I've been using Benefit Lemonade, and I've also been using this Benefit Boing, I think, concealer." And he's like, "That stuff looks awful on you." And I was like, "Well, yes, that's why I want to replace it." And he's like, "You're just too young. You don't need that coverage. You need coverage, but you don't want anything too heavy." And so he walked up to the Hourglass section, grabbed this, matched it to me, was like, "This is what you need," and handed it to me. And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." So I bought it, and he walked away doing his thing, but ever since then I have been using the Hidden Concealer from Hourglass. The reason I liked this concealer and still have it in my makeup collection is because it is very similar to the Clé de Peau concealer, which is $78. This one is a little bit more hydrating and dewy. So back then I had really bad dark under eye circles. I think my diet just wasn't really great, and I had crazy schedules. I mean, my schedule's crazy now, but on a different level, like that young 20s playing too hard and working hard kind of under eye bags. This I would wear under my eyes, and it would not crease. It didn't show my fine lines. It was also super like natural. It was a natural finish, and it looked really good, and I used it on any spots or blemishes I would have as well. So I've continued to use this. It is a little bit more hydrating than the Clé de Peau one. The Clé de Peau one I feel like is a little bit thicker, but you can blend that out really easily. So I love both the Clé de Peau and the Hourglass one. Definitely the Hourglass one is more reasonably priced. The Clé de Peau one I love, but I wasn't at the time able to afford that. So I have both in my collection though, but it's funny how this is still my concealer. The powder that I used to use literally multiple times a day because I was very, very oily all the time, and I kept it in my purse, and I went through countless of these, is the MAC Blot Powder in Medium. I forgot about this powder. I would do back to MAC, and it would be all of blot powders because I was super oily, so I would blot my nose literally like 5-6 times a day, and I used it to set my makeup. I used it for everything, and it lived in my purse. I did not leave the house without my MAC blot powder in medium, and I would hit pan on that all the time, and I'd get so many free lipsticks from MAC because I would do back to MAC, and it would be full of these powders. So that is something that I actually am interested in maybe trying again because I haven't used it in years. My brows, I would always use a brow powder or eyeshadow type of product, and the one that I was using back then was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in soft brown. Before that was the Clinique one that they no longer make. So I switched from the Clinique one that came in the silver sliding rectangle box to the Anastasia soft brown. And that one was just so good. It's a nicely densely packed brow powder, so it doesn't break. I would throw it in my makeup bag, I would travel with it, I would throw it in my drawer. It was really, really good. And I had the Anastasia angled brow brush as well with the spoolie on the end. I think I still have that brush probably somewhere. So now in my current makeup collection, and also part of my project pan, is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Powder. This one is just as good at filling, and I think it's a very universal shade. My friend Carla, who is blonde, uses this, and I am clearly as brunette as it gets. Also, I use this. So, especially if you're starting out as a makeup artist and you need to build your kit, I would recommend getting the Brow Power Powder from IT Cosmetics because it is such a universal shade. This way you don't have to buy a multitude of shades to do someone's brows. My only issue with it is that it does break up pretty frequently, so pack it gently and don't be too rough with it. I've had to repress it twice now with alcohol just to kind of keep everything from crumbling. Eyeshadows. Now, I could not for the life of me think of an eyeshadow palette I owned because all of my eyeshadows were MAC single eyeshadows. And now I actually prefer Makeup Forever single eyeshadows because I feel like the pigmentation is a lot stronger. The variety of shades are a lot better. They're a little bit more bold and they're more versatile compared to the MAC ones. I also feel like you get way more product per pan than the MAC ones. I think these are a little bit pricier, but definitely worth it. You can also use all of the Makeup Forever ones wet or dry. Here are the original shades I used to have in the MAC single eyeshadows. I had Brulee, Soft Brown, Wedge, and Tracks. This would be my version now of what I used to own in MAC single shadows back in the day. So it's crazy because looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, I never bought eyeshadow palettes. I only bought singles, and I don't know if it was just how it was back then because you didn't really have a lot of palette options. Nowadays, I feel like there's a new eyeshadow palette launching every hour. Eyeliners was something that I definitely used a lot of and used up quite often, and I would always have a brown eyeliner for every day and for auditions, and that was MAC Eye Kohl in Teddy. I love that eyeliner. You can use it to tightline, you can like get really close to your lash line and smudge it out with your fingers because that's what I usually did. And then I would have a black eyeliner, which I can't remember which black eyeliner I owned. I think it might have been like a MAC gel pot, and it would have been from MAC because most of my makeup was from MAC because I had a discount, a performer's discount through MAC. To me, like that was just like the most long-lasting product. So I think when I wanted to go out, I would pull my gel pot liner from my stage makeup kit and use that. Or maybe I owned a eye kohl that was also in black. So I have one from M Cosmetics. This is a really great one. This is called the Illustrative Eyeliner Matte Gel Pencil. I have a plummy eyeliner. I would usually buy an Urban Decay plummy eyeliner. So the one I have in my current collection is from Jouer. Jouer makes really beautiful eyeliners. These are some of the creamiest, most long-lasting, easy to use eyeliners. And I've gone through the matte black and the matte brown. So I have the plum left. I always wanted to have some sort of a plummy eyeliner in my collection because of, again, that article had read, and I could like smoke it out, and I thought my eyes looked better that way. Also always had some sort of an illuminating eyeliner, whether it be nude or white. The white was just too harsh. That was tragic that I used to use a white. I definitely pulled that white from my stage makeup kit to use sometimes in everyday, and that was just not a good idea. So nowadays I have a bunch of different shimmery champagne-y ones. This one is the RMS Beauty Living Luminizer Multi Eye Tasker, and this you just draw on the lower lash line for myself or inner corners, and that just makes my eyes look bigger, whiter, and more bright. And that was a trick I learned from stage makeup and something that I continue to use in my everyday life, whether or not it was the right shade. I can't promise you that, but nowadays there are products that you can use every single day for that. Mascara I used to use all the time and repurchased all the time was the Maybelline Falsies. It gave me this beautiful volume and just like thicker lashes. I always have enjoyed more voluminous mascaras, even back then. A cleaner option in my current makeup collection that I use is the Josie Maran Argan Black Oil Mascara. This one, I feel like after a few uses is when it gets really good. Get this beautiful, fluttery, thicker, voluminous mascara lash look. Blushes. So back in the day, I only wore, and I think I only owned maybe 3 blushes, but the only one I ever used was the MAC blush in Warm Soul. And I used it for everything. I was not a blush person back then, and I remember my mom was always like, wear some more blush. You need more blush. You need color on your face. And Warm Soul was a very mauve-y, shimmery, natural blush that almost didn't look like a blush. And I just wore that for everything, every makeup look, even on stage. God, I don't own that anymore, but I have noticed I've not been so into that no blush look. I'm more into pinks and peaches. So nowadays I prefer a peachier blush, and this is the Blush Color Infusion from Laura Mercier in Peach. I also really enjoy the Charlotte Tilbury blushes. I would have other blushes, but I never bought blushes. It was always a gift with purchase blush that my mom would give me in hopes that I'd wear more blush, but I never did. It was always MAC Warm Soul, and she'd be like, you need more. You need to put more on. The lip liner I wore every single day was MAC Spice, and I don't have it anymore right now. I couldn't find it. So I have one from Milani, which is also called Spice, and I kid you not, I think it's an exact dupe. I used Spice lip liner all over my lips, filled in my lips, put some lip balm over it, and that was kind of most everyday look. I definitely wore a lot of fresh sugar lip balms. This one is actually called Spice. This is new, but I did not wear a lot of lipstick every day. I would put a little bit of a lip liner on to just like even out my lips, and then lip balm over it, and it was the MAC Spice lip liner. I did own a lip stick from MAC that was very similar to my lip color, and I don't remember what it was called. I have this one from Ilia, which is a cleaner brand, and this is Maybe Baby Lip Conditioner with SPF 15, which has gunk all over it. I think that's food. That's disgusting. So it was definitely something like this from MAC that I had back in the day, but I love this for my life now because I definitely like, you know, cleaner products, especially on my lips. It's a really great dupe for whatever it was that I used to have. And like I mentioned, I always had my fresh sugar lip balm, and that was what I wore multiple times a day. I would also usually have some sort of a bold red lipstick, and the one I can remember that I used to have from MAC is called Diva, and then I have this one in Chili from MAC. I don't know that I would have gone for this because it's a little bit more of a muted red, but I used to go for like really bright reds and deep burgundy reds, especially for on stage, especially for performing, and especially if I was going out for the night. And I also enjoy this one currently in Control from Laura Mercier. This one's a matte lip pencil. These are a lot easier to apply, especially in those inner corners of your mouth. Something like this is definitely like an ode to my old school red. These are things that I would have most likely had in my collection from brands I would have had in my collection as well. Now for lip gloss, I thought it was really funny because I only had Buxom lip glosses for whatever reason. I don't remember any other brand of lip gloss that I used to own other than from Buxom. I have this one in Hot Toddy. I'm not sure that this is the one I would have had. I probably would have owned White Russian, but yeah. Oh, that smells so nostalgic. And I would have owned something in this shade. So I might have owned Hot Toddy, but I know for sure I owned White Russian. And I maybe would have bought a new lip gloss here and there, but I've never been a huge lip gloss fiend. I would buy it just because I wanted to have it, because I had that problem back then too. To finish off my makeup collection back then, I would have had some sort of a blotting sheet. Currently, my favorite ones are from Tatcha, but back in the day, I used to buy the Clean and Clear oil absorbing blotting sheets, and it wasn't even paper, it was like plastic, and I went through hundreds of those, which is awful because it's not biodegradable, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure they were plastic. That was something I carried on me along with the MAC blotting powder. Oh, I forgot to show you. So instead of the MAC blotting powder, I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder into medium. This is my go-to powder at this point. It's so freaking good. It just makes your skin look flawless. It's great at setting your makeup. It's just a really great powder. That would have really completed my entire makeup collection back in the day. And then of course I had my stage makeup stuff that I didn't always touch or even like looked at unless I needed to. So looking back at my old makeup collection, it's kind of weird because I didn't buy a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I can't even honestly remember an eyeshadow palette that I owned. I just owned a lot of singles that I would create my own kits with, palettes with, and I didn't buy a lot of bronzers. I didn't buy a lot of highlighters. I didn't even use bronzer and highlighter daily. If I bronzed, it was my Bare Minerals Warmth, which was just like, I remember going like this with it because that's what they told you on the infomercial. It's so crazy that I just didn't have any bronzer or highlighter in my everyday makeup collection. I would have had contour products, which was like brown and white, for creating contouring for stage makeup, but not for every single day. The other thing is, like, I don't remember having a lot of contour, bronzing, or highlighting products in department stores or in Sephora back in the day. I definitely feel like there were tons of beauty products, but not as much as there is now. Like, there's definitely way more categories within beauty, way more brands, and way more product. But I guess you can also say that about most things these days. We just have a lot more options with everything. Anyways, I thought it was really fun to just sit down and reflect on my old makeup collection, and really a realistic makeup collection for those of you guys who are not blogging, who are not on YouTube testing out products, and that might even be too much for some of you guys for every single day. I'm being honest, I still had a shopping problem back in the day, but my shopping problem was much more with fashion, accessories, home goods, and random things, including I did my fair share of damage at Bath and Body Works. I bought so much Bath and Body Works that I never even went through. I would go through the body lotions, but I usually get sick of a scent because it would be like buy three get one free, and I'd buy all the same scents because I loved it in that moment. And by the time I got to like bottle 2, I was like, I want a different scent, and I go back and buy 3 get one free, and you know, it's just that's where I spent a lot of money. And I spent a lot of money at department stores buying makeup. Don't get me wrong, I bought a lot of makeup, but it was not to the extent it is now. And I bought a lot of skincare, but not crazy amounts, because I definitely went through my products before I purchased more stuff. Looking back, I feel like my shopping, while was out of control, my beauty stuff was actually really in control, and I think my shopping problem allowed me to make a problem worse when I started YouTube and when I started blogging, because it gave me another excuse to spend money. And that's really what my problem is. I just have a lot of excuses to spend money, and I can justify a lot. Like, I can justify anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video looking down memory lane. Let me know if any of these products ring any bells for you, if you enjoyed any of these products. What were some of your like original makeup collection staples? I would love to hear from you in the comment section and read other people's comments. I think it's fun to just kind of learn from each other and read about each other's experiences in that comment section. I really want to continue to build this community, show each other support. I know a lot of you guys are doing low buys, no buys with your own set of rules. A lot of you guys had some great tips in my no buy video video. So check out the comment section. We can learn from each other and show each other support and build this community. So if you want to be a part of this community and you enjoy what you see, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so that you're notified whenever I have a new video up, which is multiple times a week. I would love to have you. It shows your support. It helps my channel out and helps me be able to continue to bring you fun, relevant content, hopefully. I love to see you over on Instagram. I do a lot of stories and hopefully motivating posts over there. Of course, I also have my blog, serein.com, where I just posted 3 things to do for your mental health right now. I talk about the new year and how it can feel very full of pressure to have all these resolutions and all these goals, and you don't have to have that, but maybe try these 3 tips on how to help your mental health right now. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your night, and I will see you guys back here in my next video. Bye!